Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Harrowing Hymns of Hollow Hills Church. Holly always felt the sense of foreboding whenever she stepped into Hollow Hills Church on the Isle of Wight. The old stone building stood atop a windswept hill, its Gothic architecture casting eerie shadows in the moonlight. Despite the picturesque surroundings, there was an unsettling aura that clung to the church like a shroud. As the church's custodian, Holly was tasked with the upkeep of the ancient building. One day, while rummaging through the dusty basement, she stumbled upon a forgotten corner obscured by cobwebs and decay. Amongst the relics of yesteryears, she discovered an ornate, leather-bound hymn book. Curiosity getting the better of her, Holly flipped through the yellowed pages, each one filled with archaic hymns and chants. Some of the verses were barely legible, as if written in a language long lost to time. Ignoring the chill that crept up her spine, she couldn't resist the urge to share her discovery with the congregation. During Sunday service, Holly introduced the newly found hymn book to the parishioners. As they sang the forgotten hymns, a strange sensation filled the air, like a whispering breeze carrying secrets from beyond the grave. Shadows danced along the walls, and an unearthly chorus seemed to echo from the depths of the church. Unbeknownst to the congregation, their voices had awakened something sinister that slumbered beneath Hollow Hills Church. With each hymn sung, the boundary between the living and the dead grew thinner, and shadowy figures materialized in the pews. These spectral entities, clad in tattered garments and with hollow eyes, demanded a sacrifice to satiate their yearning for redemption. Their mournful cries reverberated through the halls, sending shivers down the spines of those present. Holly, realizing the grave mistake she had made, attempted to stop the chanting, but it was too late. The congregation, enthralled by the unearthly melodies, refused to cease their singing. Panic ensued as the shadowy figures closed in, their outstretched hands reaching for us all to claim. Desperate and alone, Holly fled to the church's bell tower, hoping to find sanctuary amongst the ancient bells. But even there she was not safe. The shadowy figures ascended the stairs with unearthly speed, their haunting hymns growing louder with each step. Trapped and cornered, Holly had no choice but to confront the dark forces that now held sway over Hollow Hills Church. With trembling hands, she opened the hymn book one last time, determined to find a way to banish the spirits that haunted the church. As she sang the final hymn with all her heart, a blinding light erupted from the pages, engulfing the church in a cleansing fire. The shadowy figures wailed in agony as they were consumed by the purifying flames, their twisted forms fading into nothingness. Exhausted but victorious, Holly emerged from the ruins of Hollow Hills Church, the hymn book clasped tightly in her hands. Though the church lay in ruins, and the congregation scattered to the winds, she knew that she had saved the Isle of Wight from a fate far worse than death. From that day forth, the harrowing hymns of Hollow Hills Church remained silenced, their secrets buried beneath the ashes of the past. And as the sun set over the windswept hill, Holly vowed to never again underestimate the power of forgotten words and the darkness they could unleash upon the world. Years passed, and Hollow Hills Church remained a desolate monument to the horrors that had unfolded within its walls. The townsfolk whispered tales of the cursed hymn book and the brave custodian who had faced the darkness head-on. Some dismissed the stories as mere superstition, while others avoided the hill altogether, fearing what lurked in the shadows. Holly, haunted by the memories of that fateful day, found solace in her quiet life on the Isle of Wight. She had tried to move on, burying the trauma deep within her heart, but the echoes of the past lingered in every corner of her mind. One stormy night, as she sat alone by the fireplace, a knock echoed through the stillness of her cottage. Startled, Holly rose from her chair and cautiously approached the door. Through the frosted glass, she could see the silhouette of a stranger standing on her doorstep, rain-soaked and shrouded in darkness. With a trembling hand, she opened the door, and a gust of wind swept through the room, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and decay. The stranger, a man cloaked in tattered robes, stood before her, his eyes hollow and devoid of light. "I have come seeking sanctuary," he whispered, his voice a mere whisper against the howling winds. "The darkness, it follows me wherever I go." Holly hesitated, torn between compassion and fear. She knew not what manner of creature stood before her, but something in his words stirred a flicker of empathy within her heart. "Come inside," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "You'll catch your death out there." The stranger stepped into the warmth of the cottage, his presence casting a shadow over the room. As he removed his hood, Holly recoiled in horror at the sight of his twisted features, his skin pale and translucent like that of the spirits that had once haunted Hollow Hills Church. But despite his ghastly appearance, there was a sadness in his eyes that tugged at her heartstrings. He spoke of a curse that had befallen his village, of a darkness that had consumed everything he held dear. And in his trembling hands he clutched a weathered hymn book, its pages filled with the same haunting melodies that had plagued Holly's nightmares for years. Realization dawned upon her like a bolt of lightning. The darkness had not been vanquished, merely displaced, seeking refuge in the souls of those who had survived its wrath. And now it had found its way to her doorstep, a harbinger of the horrors yet to come. With a heavy heart, Holly knew what she had to do. She would face the darkness once more, not as a custodian or a survivor, but as a guardian of the light. For in the harrowing hymns of Hollow Hills Church she had found the strength to confront her deepest fears and emerge unscathed. As the storm raged on outside, Holly opened the hymn book and began to sing, her voice a beacon of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. And though the shadows clawed at the edges of her consciousness, she stood her ground, a solitary figure against the backdrop of eternity. For in the end, it was not the darkness that defined her, but the light that shone from within, illuminating the path to redemption and guiding her through the darkest of nights. And as the last echoes of the hymn faded into the silence, she knew that her journey was far from over, but she would face it with courage and resilience, knowing that she was not alone. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had or have a great day.